Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Right Hand Drive Guys podcast, the podcast for guys who like right hand drives. I'm your host, Bobby. This is your other host, Aaron.
Yo.
And we are super pumped to be back here today with another guest episode.
Hell yeah, man. Who is it?
Well, you see, this guy is actually somebody that we personally got to meet in Japan on our last trip. He was at the top rank track day for the top rank owners, and so he purchased his 34 from there.
Nice.
And we were, of course, there in my 34. And he is somebody that I'd known about for quite some time, but I saw him, I'm like, hey dude, like, you want to do the podcast? And he's like, hell yeah. And I was like, oh shit, okay, cool, I'll hit you up. And unfortunately, sometimes everybody's busy. It took us a solid 6-7 months to finally get here, but we're definitely pumped about it. Who is it?
It's Mickey Andrade.
Mickey Andrade, otherwise known as one of their creators or the creator of Throtl.
Right, yeah. He's a very busy dude, man. He's always wrenching on something.
Yeah, he really is. I think he's done 100 million project cars. But so we're excited to finally get him on here. Again, it's been a long time coming, and I know he's definitely got plenty to say. So what do you say we get to it?
Dude, let's get right to it.
All right, episode 84 with Mickey Andrade. All right, and we're back with Mickey. What's up, Mickey?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on, guys.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you coming on. Ever since we met at Fuji Speedway, the iconic Fuji Speedway, we've been looking forward to this. So it's definitely a pleasure to finally get you on here.
Yeah, man, that was January Auto Salon time, so it's been a few months.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't imagine how much has really changed for you in that time.
A lot.
But so, okay, man. So, we kind of know about you, but some of our listeners may be in the dark. So just let
Sure.
us know, who even is Mickey really? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, for sure. So for those of you that aren't aware of me as a automotive enthusiast, I've been working in the automotive space as basically behind the scenes as a marketing guy or whatever for 20 plus years at this point. Kicked off my career in the state of Ohio, Akron area, University of Akron graduate, and I owned a sticker shop making vinyl stickers in Ohio. Did a bunch of work, a shop in California called Modern Image Sign Works, saw some of my work and moved me out to California to work for them. Shortly after I started working for them, I moved on to a marketing position at Falken Tire, where I was one of the first guys brought in to work under a gentleman named Nick. And we promptly started the drift program. And I worked my way into managing that drift program up to a 12-car team when the blue and teal was all over the track. You guys probably remember that back in the early 2000s.
That was a great era.
So that was a really fun time in my life. I was in my early 20s, mid-20s, traveling the country and the world, drifting with all these Japanese drivers and all the up-and-coming American drivers, which is really cool. So really close relationships with the Chris Forsbergs, the Vaughn Gittins, a lot of the older guard from FD. I came up with them basically at the same time, which is really neat, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. After moving on from Falken, I've worked at a wheel brand. I've worked at an air suspension brand. So I've got a pretty well-rounded background in automotive. That leads me to starting Throtl with a couple of my buddies who I met working at the wheel brand I worked at. Came up with an idea. We want to start this brand called Throtl. We want to help enthusiasts who buy and sell used car parts find them easier without having to go into the forums and put your passwords in every time and all that stuff. So we basically developed a scraper that would find the part you're looking for sale in the forums, bring it into one place. We found out that a lot of people weren't finding the parts they wanted, so we rotated it over to new parts, started selling new parts, started marketing on YouTube, and here we are today. So that's kind of the long and short of my history. There's a lot more to it than that.
Of course.
For all intents and purposes, that's the high-level stuff.
So, yeah, it's been, an obvious journey, in that sense.
Yeah.
And, I can't imagine just all the little experiences that you've had that have kind of led you, in this direction.
Man, yeah, going back to the early 2000s when we were building the drift cars for Formula D, which was, I mean, back then they were basically street cars.
Yeah.
And no rear mounted radiators, no angle kits, none of that crazy stuff. So I learned pretty much everything I know from the fabricators that we hired to build those glorified street cars for what they were back then. I owe a lot of debt of gratitude to all those guys. They, let me come down and sweep the floors after work and learn how to weld and cut fenders and chop knuckles and all that little stuff that you don't learn unless you just get in there and do it.
Yeah.
So the journey has been amazing. And the Throtl journey, which is what most people see because of our 2.5 million viewership on YouTube, that most people know me from that. They don't realize that I had 15 years prior in the industry before that. It just didn't happen overnight. We just spun up a YouTube channel and here we are.
Yeah, it's super deep,
a lot of
right?
work. Yeah, with anything, like anytime you see someone that's had some level of success or enjoying their position at their job, it's because they've probably put in a lot of work. It didn't happen overnight for the most part. So that's one thing that a lot of people don't get. They just say, "Oh, it must be nice."
You're right.
Well, there's a lot of digging behind it. So
yeah, it's nice
anyway,
now for sure. Maybe it's nice now, right?
yeah, I mean, but are you ever happy?
Right,
I mean,
right.
always,
No, I feel you.
you always want to strive to do better and help more when you can. So that's the next step for me, is to start to give back to the automotive community more than I have already, and continue to build cool stuff and continue to learn.
Yeah, and in turn, people will learn from you, which is also an excellent gift to have in the sense of being able to pass that on the platform that you have.
Yeah, I hope so.
And so, like I mentioned, man, we met in Japan. Like Japan is,
Yes.
Oh gosh, I mean, Japan is amazing. It's hard to explain Japan to people that haven't been there without kind of getting way too excited, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do it often. I try to sort of explain what makes it so magical or so special to me. And everybody that goes there, I think, understands it after they get there, and they're, oh, now I see what he was talking about. But until you go and really experience it, it's hard to explain, for sure.
Yeah, it really is. And so, how many times have you been over individual trips now?
Man, so starting in 2004 was my first time going. When I worked at Falken, we shipped Von Gitten's first Mustang over there for Tokyo Auto Salon.
Oh wow!
So total trips, I think I'm at about 8 or 9 now, since in 20 years, which isn't a lot. I've been going a lot more recently. In the last 2 years, I've been going a lot more, and that's because, like yourself, I've been acquiring some vehicles over there before they're eligible here in the States. So it's nice to go over there and enjoy them. And the place we buy the cars from is gracious enough to register them as rental cars for us and let us come there and drive them before they're shipped here to America, which is amazing.
Yeah,
such a cool service.
That really is. And I would say when I bought my car, Top Rank really did stand out solely for that purpose. I knew I wanted to create those memories in Japan because that really connects you to the car to this level that's maybe just a tiny step above, buying one that's already landed here. You just have all those KMs, man, like all of them.
Yep. Yeah, and part of
tolls.
me is like, yeah, and all the tolls.
Yeah.
They add up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, believe me, I've got 2 vehicles that are eligible to come here in October and December, and I'm really contemplating not bringing one of them here.
Oh wow.
As much as I would love to have it here in my shop and the ability to drive it when I feel like it, it's also kind of nice knowing I can fly into Japan, get a cab over to Top Rank, pick a car up, and just go drive. I don't have to rent something. I don't have to lean on anybody else. It's literally just boom, cut and dry, go there, have fun, drive. And that's the thing, like, I don't know about you, but I was leery about putting cams on the car. Like, oh, I'm going to run the miles up. But who cares, man? It's a
Yeah.
car. It's meant to be enjoyed, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I agree. I got 8,000 on mine in Japan right now. Like as far as that I've put on there.
That
So,
you put on it.
yeah, and so, yeah, at first I'm like, "Oh, it's an R34. I should, limit these miles." But then like you said, man, I mean, it's a whole different level of freedom when you're there, and you have
Yep.
that car to walk out and like you said, just take off. It's definitely
Man,
amazing.
you're experiencing basically a dream world. It was a dream world for me in the beginning when I first started in the automotive industry to go to Japan and drive a Skyline there, whatever you're into, and to be able to do it whenever you feel like it is very cool and very rewarding.
And so I know that you have traveled, beyond Japan, quite a bit for
Oh
just
yeah.
different things that you've been into. But, what is it, would you say, that just really stands out about Japan? Like, what is it, that just maybe I would assume makes Japan one of your favorites?
This is gonna probably not be the popular answer, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's the people, honestly.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and not even just the people, the culture. I think even further, like to go down that road is like we could learn a lot from the Japanese and their culture there and how they care for one another. Um, Simple instance, you get on the public transit and someone maybe coming down with a cold. What do you see? They're wearing a mask.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
They're not wearing a mask to protect themselves. They're wearing a mask to protect the others around them. And to me, that's like the ideal for that culture. Like it's just they care about one another. We simply don't. People care about one another in America, but not at that level. And, you care about your family, you care about your close friends, and that sort of thing. But a stranger, whatever. They
Yeah.
get sick, they get sick. But in Japan, it's totally different. They look out for everyone, regardless if they know them or not. And to me, that's really cool and very humbling. And one of the reasons why I love going to Japan because I feel like um, that's where I should have been my whole life.
Yeah, I could
It's
relate to
very,
that.
yeah, it's very interesting. And then obviously living the car culture lifestyle over there, going to Daikoku, going to the Toge and checking out the after hours activities and stuff like that is just that's kind of like a cherry on top for me. And that's like, man, I'm living in a dream world at the moment. So every time I go there, I get giddy and just enjoy every second I'm there.
Yeah, it's almost like a reset. Like you go,
Mm-hmm.
you experience that, and it doesn't even have to be lavish or crazy, right? Like, and
No.
and literally, you come back with almost like a renewed sense of, I don't know what to call it, but I definitely feel a lot more charged. And I'm always, of course, I'm
Mm-hmm.
instantly like, how to immigrate into Japan. You know, you
If you don't think I've thought about it, you're
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. No, I can only imagine, man.
I've already looked over at my chick on our last trip. We're driving on the freeway, and I looked over and I said, "You down to move here with me?" And she looked at me and she goes, "Yeah, I actually am." And she won't go anywhere. She's a Southern California girl, born and raised San Diego, loves it here, would never move out of San Diego. And she's like, "Yeah, I would move to Japan, honestly." So
Dang.
I would.
Okay, you got her
Yeah.
on board. That's what's up, dude.
Hey, I just got to figure out how to make a living over there now.
Yeah. No, and that's what I hear the challenge definitely is. And
For
so
sure.
you did mention, you got two cars over there. They're coming to be eligible. We
Yeah.
know you got multiple cars, back here at home in the States.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so my question is, because we kind of have something in common. We're both going for the white 3 GTR collection, right? And maybe more, but Stagia kind of fits in there.
Yeah.
35 kind of
Yeah.
fits in there. But why
Yeah.
white, man? Like I gotta know. Like I know why I like white, but why does Mickey like white?
Um, well, there's a couple reasons why. And so for me, white cars show the body lines the best to me. Um, I I have a couple pictures of my R33 that I could send you that I think any other color, the body lines on the car wouldn't appear the way they do on a white car. And white cars always look very clean to me. And I know clean is kind of a cliche word in the car scene, like, oh, that's clean. But it means different things, right? So to me, clean is like it stays clean, like it doesn't look dirty, as opposed to a black car or a darker color car, which captures all that road dirt and looks very dirty. White cars, you can get away with a few extra days without a wash and still looks pretty tidy. So to me, the crisp cleanliness of a white car is why I like them. Now, the reason I went for that was because I was inspired by Nobuteru Taniguchi way back in the day. Back in like 2000 to 2003, he was basically building a collection of S chassis, and they were all red.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an option magazine with them all laid out. S13, S14, S15, 8.6 Corolla. He had everything. They were all red. And I think he even had an FD maybe, but don't quote me on that. But anyway, I was inspired by that. I thought it was so cool that he had all these premium JDM chassis in all red, and it just looked so slick. So when I was able to start buying cars, I started buying white, and I was like, you know what? Everything I buy is going to be white from here on out. So whether I buy a pickup truck or a sports car, it's white.
Hell yeah! And that it's a 260 RS, is it, that you have over there?
Yes, I have a Stasia All-Tech version 260 RS, which is probably the cleanest of all the cars that I have. Yeah, arguably it has the lowest Ks. It's the most original as far as like it wasn't modded at all when I bought it, other than a grounding kit on the chassis. So very happy as a one owner car. And that's the one I was starting to feel guilty about putting the Ks on, but it's so good, man. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, I could let this car sit and rot away and not enjoy it, or I can just get in and enjoy it and not care that I might not get that extra $5,000 on top of the sales price if I ever decide to sell this thing. Well, let's be frank. I'm not buying these cars to sell them. I'm buying them to enjoy them. So
right.
I'm going to drive them.
And that is, kind of the difference between, I don't even mean to say this, but like a real enthusiast, right? Like is buying these cars to experience them, so to speak, as opposed to just kind of store them, and look at them and show them to their buddies,
Exactly. I mean, these are all cars I used to drive in Gran Turismo and, really popular video games in the late 90s, early 2000s. And these were like, I'm a little bit older than you guys. So to me, I was in my like getting ready to buy my first car or had my first car. And it was like, these were aspirational vehicles for me, big time. And I remember driving the Autech version 4-door R33 and the yellow one in Gran Turismo and being like, what the heck is this thing? A 4-door GTR, blah, blah, blah. And here now I actually was able to buy one. And like, to me, these are bucket list things. Like I never in a million years would have thought that I could own something like this. One, because of the geographical challenges of just getting it here. And two, having to wait out the 25-year rule. And then also being able to afford it and then maintain it. So I've been very fortunate the last few years and found a good one and bought it. And I'm not going to look back, man. I'm just going to enjoy it.
And those, this is a common theme between a lot of the guys that we interview, right? Like they would be in their prime, right, in these video games, and they're playing these cars, and it almost gets like burned into their brain and like self-manifests, right, after 10, 15, 20 years, and all of a sudden, these guys are actually driving, their Autech 33s just like they were, in that grainy Gran Turismo, PlayStation game,
living that life that we couldn't live back then, just doing it now.
Yeah, and it really is amazing, and I know I can tell you are, and I'm definitely enjoying it, while this time in our lives is like fresh in here. I try to take it in because these will be the good old days for sure. I can tell just these Japan trips and acquiring the cars and stuff. So Aaron,
and now that the 34 is legal in America, we're kind of seeing the heyday of Skyline activity. I think, sadly, until probably 2027 when the 2002s become available and they stop coming, it's going to slightly decline probably, and the novelty is not going to be as great. But
I agree.
I guess only time will tell.
Yeah, and I think, I wouldn't say the novelty is quote unquote like wearing off, but I think it's saturating in right now, like when these first ones, of course, started landing and everybody's in Japan driving theirs. And, I think people are kind of starting to get used to it a little bit even now. So I know Aaron had a good little challenge question.
Yeah.
We got something for you.
Little fantasy action here. So you get to keep all of your current cars, but you have to swap the same motor into all of them.
Ooh.
What would it be?
What motor is it gonna be?
Easy answer. RB26.
RB26. And so
And there it is.
what
They all already have it.
I was gonna ask, what car actually doesn't have that right now?
So
Yeah.
I have a few, but so I have an FD-RX-7, which we know that's an upgrade already.
Yeah.
Although I am putting a different engine in my RX-7. It will be rotary, but not a 13B.
Ooh.
But I would gladly change that for an RB. However, I won't because I'm a purist. So S14, S15, which have SRs in them, I would gladly change those to RBs. So I have to say RB.
RBs
Do you
are king.
still have the Freak though?
I do.
Ooh.
It does not belong to me though.
Oh, I see. That's a
Ah.
project car. I see what you're saying.
Long story, but that car belongs to Throtl.
I see.
So in the beginning, it belonged to me, but there was some business activities that had to happen, and I had to basically sell the car to Throtl.
I see.
So that car is rad, and that car has my second choice motor that I would put in every car if I had to. So
It's got to be a K series,
I
right?
hope that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely.
K20 turbo, K20 NA. It doesn't matter. K20 is, man, I hate to say this, but it's probably one of the best motors ever built, in my opinion. It just does everything well. Holds boost, super reliable, small, compact, lightweight. Can be used in rear-wheel drive configuration, front-wheel drive configuration, all-wheel drive configuration. It's like the 4-banger LS.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like $800 on Facebook Marketplace.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the engine and the Freak, I think, for $600, but that was a good 5 years ago now, but 6 years ago now. But
Damn.
yeah, they're just super affordable and bulletproof, man. Like, you really got to rag on them to blow them up and stuff, so, or not take care of them. So, RB and K.
Yeah, I mean, those are definitely two solid motors by two solid manufacturers. I mean, you really probably couldn't go wrong. So we heard through the grapevine, you could say. We heard you're what we would call a hunter. And I'm not talking about venison or deer or anything like that. We're talking about the rarest of the rare. We heard your name on Yahoo Auctions.
Well, this is just within reach of me, so let me reach over here. This was my haul from yesterday.
Uh-oh.
So I collect really weird random stuff from Japan. And this would have been a mid-logo decal that came with an exhaust system.
Oh, no
I see.
way, dude.
Would have been something you stuck on your back window or your rear bumper or something. But I also, this room that I'm sitting in is actually going to be called the Skyline Brewery.
Oh,
And I'm going to
wow.
have to bring you out sometime. There's going to be a lot of shelves on the walls in here, and I am a mad collector of Nissan catalogs and books and stuff. This is 3 versions of the S15 catalogs from the dealer. I have every Nismo competition parts catalog from 89 to 2020 when they stopped printing it.
Damn.
Wow, dude. What?
Almost every catalog for every Nismo car or any Nissan car ever made, even down to the special edition stages and stuff like that. And I have a mad collection of very old magazine stuff. This is, I don't know if you guys realize who that is, but it's Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, with his Skyline.
We actually saw the Paul Newman R31 at Top Rank when we were there for the auto salon.
Yeah. So that's the car right there.
That's insane.
That is sweet. That must have been
and then
super
this is,
limited.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff's available. You can find it, but I I don't know why, man. It was 2 or 3 years ago. I started, getting into the Skyline super heavily. And, when you're scouring for parts, you end up finding stuff like this. And this is probably like maybe a hundredth of what I have. I literally can pack shelves in here with stuff. And I have this space that is my own personal space. I call it my hobby shop. But when I'm not at Throtl building cars with the boys, I'm here at night and on the weekends. And I'm going to eventually open this up to allow people to come visit and thumb through the catalogs. And, if you have a question about when a certain duffel bag was made by Nismo, you can scour through all the accessory catalogs and see what year it was. And it's just stuff like that. I really enjoy the history of all that stuff. And so, when you're looking for parts, you find the stuff. So I started buying it. And it's just become almost an obsession for me. So yeah, you could call me a hunter.
He's a hunter. And so, I mean, that's very valuable to our community though, because, like you said, this stuff's available, but in one place where, whatever, you've put in 100 hours looking for something on the internet, but you can go over to Mickey's place and what do you know? It's right there.
Yeah. Like this one right here. I just got this yesterday. This is a 2007. This was the only volume that has eluded me for 2 years.
Wow, you just
finally
achieved
got it.
Yeah, it's not in perfect condition, which I don't care because the reason for this collection is for people to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I want to do is be worried about getting fingerprints and stuff on it. And that's why I showed you the silver catalogs. These are Sylvia S15 dealer brochures. This one is brand new, so it's in a package, and I've left it that way. But I bought another one, a second one, so that you can thumb through it and actually see like what. I mean, this is so cool. Japan is so awesome.
Yeah,
this is inside. This is optional. This is all the stuff that was an option on the car when it was new.
Oh man, I love how they break stuff down.
Man, it's addictive, and it's become an addiction for me to find all this cool rare stuff and be able to have it here so that people can enjoy it at some point. So
yeah, I think that's a like a great goal to have, to be able to share, because we buy these things and when we just keep them to ourselves, like it really limits you and but okay, so what I want to know is what's the rarest part, like your pride and joy. What's the pride and joy that you found?
Dang it! I would have known you were going to ask me that question. I would have brought it here today, but I keep it actually in a climate controlled room that's dark.
Oh my gosh!
I have a disease. Anyway, so obviously I bought the Autech R33, and I love mid logo stuff. So as I showed you guys, this is the logo I like. So when you find the round logo, which is Hinumaru, is what that means. It's the Japanese circle from the flag. That's my favorite era of Skylines, which is basically the golden era, which was the R32, R33, and R34. And then they switched. They had the old logo before them, well, partially into the R32, and then the new logo towards the end of R34. But to me, the sweet spot was that Hinumaru logo, or mid logo, as Americans call it. And so I started hunting parts for the 33 Autech version, which is really difficult because some stuff works from a coupe, but a lot of it doesn't, and there's a lot of trial and error. I found out a lot of really cool things of what actually fits a two-door and a four-door the same, which is pretty cool. Like the side skirts for a two-door fit the four-door exactly the same.
Oh, wow.
That's sick.
So the wheelbase is the same. The side skirt length is the same, which is weird. You wouldn't know that unless you tried, right? Well, in hunting for parts, I found the carbon outer door covers. I don't know if you've seen the appliques that go on the 34 B pillars behind your glass. So it's like a carbon with a clear gel coat over it, and it says Nismo at the bottom. I found a set for a four-door, which is ultra rare. Because that's a part that you bought for a car. You bought for your car, you stuck it on. Once it's stuck, you're probably not going to be able to remove it in one piece or nicely, and it gets ruined. Well, I found a brand new in the box set of all. So because it's a four-door, it has 6 pieces. So it has the front door pillar, the rear door pillar, and then the little triangle in the rear glass window. And that's where it says Nismo. Super trick piece. if I pulled out one of those other catalogs over there, I could show you it in the catalog. It was only present in the catalog for 2 years, and it disappeared. So finding it brand new in the box, to me, that's like treasure hunt of all treasure hunts. I don't even want to use them. I bought a used set. I found a used set, pieced it together, and I refinished it and put that on my car. I won't even use the set I bought brand new.
Wow.
That's sick.
Man, that is wild to really think about, because that was such a limited car that parts like that, we're lucky they were even manufactured, let alone, actually spares. Yeah. I mean, that's probably unheard of. I mean,
yeah, and so there's another part too that just dawned on me. So the rear wing for the 33 Autech version, because the trunk, as you know, as a 33 owner, the trunk is sunk down, right, on a coupe, and then the fenders come up, and so the wing from Nismo or from Nissan sits in that recess and makes it flat. Well, on the sedans, it's straight across. There is no recess, but Nismo did make a replica wing that looks like the GTR coupe wing without the recess lower portion. It's basically just two stands and two uprights and a winglet or element. And I found one of those. So again, only in the Nismo catalog for 1 or 2 years, and they may have made 10 of them. I don't know. They may have made 2. They may have made 100. I don't know. But finding them is like finding hen's teeth. They don't exist. So I was able to find one of those. So if that gives you any idea where I'm going with my 33 build, maybe that.
Dude, that thing is sick. That's probably one of my favorite R33s.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The
That's
Autech
cool.
33s are hot, but dude, yours is just like
With the
next level.
TEs, the white TEs.
The white on white.
Oof.
So nice.
Well, it's about to get changed up a little bit, boys. But yeah, I'm actually behind what I'm looking at on my computer screen of you guys interviewing me is a picture of it at Willow Springs, and I can see it. And so it is. I love the way it looks now currently, but man, I saved up all the parts to basically, I'll tell you guys here, this is exclusive. I'm basically turning it into the Autech version Nismo model that they only made one of. I've scoured the world, found every part to recreate the car, down to the decals that are on it.
Wow.
And the only difference between the Nismo car that was on display at Tokyo Auto Salon in 1998 and only one exists is going to be the color. And it was yellow. It was the one I played in the video game.
That was the actual unit.
Mine will be white. Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, like you said, I mean, that white makes it individual, but those parts, man, nobody will have that, which I know isn't the point, but, I mean, that's just wild to kind of almost have a one of one.
Yeah, and that's the goal for it. You know, the car has some Ks on it. It did get a chassis refresh at Tokyo Prince back in 2019, so it handles and feels like a brand new car.
Damn.
But it has high Ks. It's not a cream puff by any means. It's meant to be driven, and I'm enjoying the crap out of it. I'm going to mod it, make it a one-of-one style car, and who knows? Maybe I'll sell it someday, but I really don't think I will.
Yeah, I mean, with that low production number and then those parts, I mean, and it kind of seems to be kind of a common theme. Like, you get these cars and, you know, they're beautiful, nice cars, but you turn them into drivers' cars, not in like a negative way, because somebody will use that in a negative way, but
yeah,
you know,
I understand what you mean.
You drive them, you actually do drive them, which is not the case for all of these cars that get brought over.
Enjoy it, man. Like, you only have one life to live. You could be gone tomorrow. I would feel terrible if I was gone tomorrow and I had all these cars sitting in the garage and I didn't get to enjoy them. So that's my mentality nowadays. It took some years on me to figure that out, because I had cars in the past that I sat on and just didn't enjoy because I didn't want to put miles on them. It's dumb.
Yeah, it's true, especially if you can afford them, why not enjoy them, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and again, there's a case for everything. If you've got a 1 of 10, who knows what Porsche or 918, I don't know what it is, but like, if you've got something ultra rare like that, sure, I get it. You know, it could be worth $1 million, $2 million at some point, but none of these cars, I mean, you know, white GTRs is the most common color pretty much for every GTR is white. So we're not talking about anything super rare. Of course, my 34 is a V-Spec, which makes it a little bit more special, but is it really?
Right.
They made a couple thousand of them.
Yeah, might as well
it's
just
not
drive
that
it.
special. Yep. Enjoy it.
All right, what'd you have for him?
Yeah, dude, what's up next for you?
What's
What's
next for
happening
Mickey?
next?
Yeah. So, my roles changed a little bit at Throtl. We've got a good team there now. Ricky and Quinn have been killing it in the shop, and my role has changed as sort of the project manager. I basically, and it has for the last year and a half, but I'm not doing as much on camera now. I'm doing a lot more behind the scenes, building the cars on spreadsheet, getting the parts ordered, getting everything in so the guys have products every day to install on the cars, and basically just planning the builds. So it's what I really enjoy doing. As you've seen on all my personal cars, I take a lot of time and pick the right parts and put the whole package together so it all works well together. It looks nice, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a bit different because I'm not on camera every day, which I used to be. Still a content creator, but doing a lot more project planning and building of the cars in the background. So it's a little different world these days. And aside from that, as I told you previously, I've got my own hobby shop now where I store all the cars and I'm building my Skyline Berry. So that gets all my extra time. I haven't been going to car meets as much, which I need to be doing more of. But I really want to share these cars with all the local car community here. So I need to do that more.
Which is like hard, right? Because you want to be in the shop working on them, but you want to have them at the meet. But it is that balance is tough, and sometimes time gets away from you.
That's the thing. So you got to keep in mind that like from 9 to 5 every day, I'm at Throtl or longer. And then I come here after hours and do my own personal stuff. And on a Saturday morning when everybody's rolling out the cars and coffee, I'm laying there in bed going, I've been working on cars all week. I kind of just want to go walk down by the beach or go grab breakfast or, it's not, I don't need to be doing cars 100% of the time, which I have done for like the last 20 years of my life. So recently I've been kind of pulling back a little bit, but I realize I need to be more involved and really to help the community grow and to share these cool cars that, we've all collected. So it's neat to get them out and let people enjoy them.
Yeah. And I could see, the consumption, like it consumes you for a long time. Right. And time like goes by very fast. And all of a sudden you are like, okay, well, I kind of need to have some of these other parts of my life be more of a constant as well. I could relate to that for sure. All right, we were last night. We're like, all right, yeah, we got Mickey on the show tomorrow. Like, we're excited. And, we had this question for you, which I didn't put in the outline. All right, this is a surprise. All right.
All right, hit me with it.
Okay, is Mickey a Honda boy or a Nissan dude? Officially,
I'm a Nissan dude.
He's a Nissan dude.
There it is. He's a Nissan dude.
100%.
Okay.
I started in Hondas, man. My first car was a Honda. It was a 1988 Civic hatchback. I bought it for, I think, $3 or $4 grand in 1994, 1993. I don't know. I'm old. But at any rate, I got into Hondas that way. Of course, I broke it. My dad helped me fix it. And I got the bug for working on cars. I then bought a EM1 SI. I had more CRXs than I could count. Bunch of EFs. So yeah, I love Hondas, man. Listen, it started my love for cars and working on cars and understanding how to work on cars because Hondas are so simple to work on. It made it fun. It made it fun and not intimidating. Had I started with a 3000 GT twin turbo or something like that, I might.
I would have gave up quick.
Cars as much, or a Volvo, or something that's like a pain in the ass to work on. So, obviously, I've mentioned that I played a lot of Gran Turismo and stuff back in the day. That's where I sort of grew into liking, like, Group A, JGTC, that type of stuff, those type of cars, and aspiring to own something like that or a street-going version of one of those race cars. Fast forward to today, here we are. I'm able to now afford those things, and I want to experience that in real life. So as we spoke about, briefly previously, that's where we're at. And so I've become I've graduated from Hondas to Nissans. I don't think I'll go back to Hondas, although the FK8 and the FL5 are fantastic cars. I've driven both of them and am completely blown away because I feel like Honda lost their way after about 2002 to about almost recently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pretty much my whole career in automotive, after I moved to California, Honda really hasn't made a digestible platform for me. So it kind of forced me to look elsewhere, and I've always been, looking at Skylines, but they've been unobtainium. So here we are now that they're available. I'm a Skyline guy, boys.
Yep. Hell yeah. That's
Love
what's
to
up,
hear
man.
that.
Absolutely, Mickey. And we definitely appreciate you carving out some time here for us tonight, man.
Too easy, guys. I love it. I'm sorry it took so long to get on here. I've just been busy, and I'm glad you stuck with me here and got us together.
Hell yeah, man. Well worth the wait. And hey, so did I hear that your favorite NHL team is the Anaheim Mighty Ducks? Is that the truth?
That is a lie.
That's a lie. Well, who is it?
I actually go to a lot of Ducks games because I'm only about 30 minutes from the arena, and I play on the arena before some of the Ducks games with this group that I play hockey with, which is really cool. Experiencing a fast-paced game on a professional arena is second to none. Like it's right up there with driving the Skyline. The boards are so predictable. The ice is perfectly manicured. Like, you know what to expect when you bounce a puck off the glass. It goes where you want it to go.
Legit
the
lighting.
arenas we play at, legit lighting.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm actually a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, believe it or not.
Oh, Pittsburgh fan. Hell yeah, man.
So I get a lot of hate for that. A lot of people hate the Penguins because of their successes and some of the players that they've drafted and stuff. But at the same time, I grew up in Akron, Ohio. I was born in '76, so I grew up. I started playing hockey. Started skating when I was 15 months old. Started playing hockey when I was 3.
Damn.
And so I was a huge Edmonton Oilers fan because they were a powerhouse back then with Wayne Gretzky and Paul Coffey and all those guys. And then Pittsburgh was only 2 hours away from Akron, Ohio. So my family would take me to Pens games once in a while when I was good. And I played in some tournaments in Pittsburgh. So I just became sort of a Penguins fan by default. And then right before I moved to California, Ohio got the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
And they've become a rivalry to the Penguins. So I don't really care for the Blue Jackets too much. But just a diehard Penguins fan, just from being a kid and rooting for them and getting to see Mario play and, at the Igloo. And it's one of those things, man. It's just ingrained in you. I'm sure you're the same way with your team. It's something you've cheered for your whole life. And I'm a hockey fan in general. I'll watch any game that's on. I'll watch the Bruins. I'll watch the Nordiques, or they're not even around anymore. But I'll watch any hockey, dude. Women's hockey.
That's like passion, hockey. Right? That's like that real passion that stuck with you from 3 years old, literally, until this day.
Exactly.
And a lot of people maybe haven't had something like that, and so people like us are definitely lucky to have experienced things like that. Yeah,
so I still play 2 or 3 times a week now. In fact, some of your audience might be familiar with a guy named TJ Hunt. He's actually a friend of mine, and we actually play on the same beer league team.
Yeah.
So
how are those knees holding up?
His or mine?
Yours.
Mine are great.
Yeah,
my
those are
fantastic.
The worst.
I'm 47 now, and I'm playing in a league with guys in their 20s. So I'm still hanging in there, and I'm enjoying it, having a blast. And that's the thing. Like, most of you guys all know me as a car guy, but I always tell people this: I'm a hockey guy that's just into cars. I'm actually more passionate about ice hockey than I am cars, believe it or not.
Yeah, and you said, it's that early, ingrained. From 3 years old.
Yeah.
How could you not be, man?
And my family's all hockey players. Like, all my nieces, nephews, figure skating, hockey. My dad was a hockey player. My mom was a figure skating coach. Like,
wow.
It's just, it was my whole life until I got into cars, and that's where things sort of pivoted. I moved to California, and cars kind of just took over my life. Took a couple of years off of hockey and immediately went right back to it, and haven't looked back, man. I love the game. It keeps me grounded. I love the code of ethics that are involved with the game. There's a game in a game going on all the time, and to me that's fun and a fun challenge, and keeps things exciting.
Yeah, and it would, if cars were it would be too much and not enough at the same time, right? I mean, you got to have
Probably.
those other things that, as you say, kind of keep you grounded.
Yeah, and if you look at my social medias, you won't see too much hockey content. Every time I post something though, I get a lot of DMs. Hey, more hockey content. Hey, show us some
Oh
more
yeah.
hockey. And I don't really, because it's my private life, and
Yep.
I'm a pretty private guy. I don't put a lot of what I do outside of cars on social medias because it's my time, and I don't want to feel like I owe anybody anything. As much as I know our audience and stuff appreciates seeing what we do outside of cars. To me, it's just a private thing, and
Yeah.
hockey's my
Separate.
outlet. Yeah, hockey's my outlet. So like, I just want, when I walk into the rink, man, my phone doesn't come out of my pocket. I don't know. I just turn off and I enjoy it.
Don't spoil it, for sure. Keep it sacred like that.
Exactly.
All right, Mickey, we'll let you get back to it, back in the workshop over there. But we definitely, again, appreciate you coming on, man. And hopefully, maybe we'll see you in Japan sometime at the end of the year-ish.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I blew up my R34 at Fuji.
I wasn't gonna say it.
I'm due. Oh man, I have the video content from when it happened, and I handled it so well. Like, I literally I opened the door, kicked it open, and looked at my video guy and said, "Well, that's how it goes sometimes." Shut the door and walk away. I mean, what can you do?
Yeah.
It is, and the car's tired and old, and now it's time for a new engine, which I was planning to do when it got here anyway. So I'm going to be going back, hopefully the way it looks in September, to build an engine.
Nice.
Hope capture that content. So keep an eye on my Instagrams and Throtl socials for that. And then their Top Rank is planning on using my car for ours meeting in October.
Oh, nice.
As their display to showcase the engine we're going to build. So it's kind of neat. I'm going to go back a couple times, I think, before the end of the year. And then, of course, I'm going to go back in January for Auto Salon. So it's a lot of traveling. I don't know that I'm prepared for it, but the stuff has to get done, and it's really cool stuff. So
hell yeah, buckle up.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome, man. Well, we definitely look forward to connecting with you again, man. And I really hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, guys. And when you're ready to have me back on, just shoot me a message.
Hell yeah, man.
Good
Thank you
talking
very
with you.
much. Peace.
All right. Thanks, boys. Later.
Dude, Mickey. Like, Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey. Like, Mickey is so cool, man. I like, when we were in Japan, we didn't really get to, like, hang out with him. It was kind of an in-passing thing. And, like, that was a cool episode.
Yeah, dude's a cool guy, and he's got, sick car collection. Like, you touched on the white GTRs, building that collection. Dude has Autech 33 with some of the rarest parts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, insane.
I feel like the rarest part this man has is the true passion.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The true passion.
That true, yeah.
He's not like overboard about it, right? Like, it's not like this like turn off. It's like inspiring. Like, wow, he openly said he's 47 years old. His head is still in the game so heavily that he's up late looking for the Nissan catalogs. Dude. Because he wants to share them. And this is why I say, like, this is a rare part. Like, he wants to share them. He doesn't want them all for himself, to hoard them, to say, I have all these catalogs. No, he wants to share them so that you can find what you need, so that they can find what they need, and it's a communal type thing. Yeah, dude. I mean, insane. Yeah. I mean, that was what really stood out to me about him is, sometimes when you have these guys that find success like that, the YouTube, Instagram, all these different things, they kind of forget about the community side of it because it's easy to get like kind of, stuck in it of being about you. Yeah. But he really didn't do that. And I mean, I'm excited. He told us to make sure to hit him up to get him back on here. And, we'll let him get that 34 motor built and like let him get some progress. And then we'll try to get him back on it and really talk about, how he kind of went from a blown motor at Fuji to a total rebuilt car that is, featured at the Top Rank booth.
Yeah, probably gonna be sick.
Yeah, it is. I
mean,
can't wait. So, for episode 84 with Mickey, we definitely appreciate you listening along. We forgot to ask him his socials, but you can. It's at Throtl at Mickey Andrade, and you find him on Instagram pretty easily. But yeah, we appreciate you listening along. I'm Bobby. This is Aaron.
See ya.
Peace.